I woke up this morning with new wisdom on my mind. I know who I am. There's no need to hide. I got something to say. I'm thinking that it's time. Why? Cause I'm a young intellect. I'm a young intellect. I'm a young intellect. I'm a young intellect. Pay me my respect.
You are now tuned in to the Young Intellect podcast, an open space where opinions and experiences are welcomed. Hosted by Sam and Muffle. Hello and welcome, Young Intellects. This is your co-host, Muffle, welcoming you to our open space to teach, learn, laugh, and love.
And I am your co-host, Sam, here to encourage you to explore different ways to view the world at large. So today we're welcoming back Ann Dreus Reneé. Ann Dreus was...
Hi, y'all.
Hey!
She was in one of our episodes, episode 3, which was about the friends and stuff like that. And Ann is the creator of a brand new blog called Radiance. It's an online sisterhood for women of color, of course, to link up women and talk about self-care, personal growth, self-love, and many more. So, Ann, do you have anything that we should expect about this blog?
Just expect a lot of realness, but also a lot of personal growth stories and experiences, and I really just want it to be a really open community. I want everybody to be able to open up and talk about whatever's going on, because a lot of things we hide inside. So I wanted to create a platform for not only me to tell my truth, but for others to do the same.
Okay, I love it. I like that.
That's beautiful.
I'll definitely already subscribe to your blog. So
thank you. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Same here. Yeah, that explanation was just beautiful.
Y'all be sure to check out her blog when it drops.
So, we know that you're on your own self-love journey and we are on ours too. So we thought this episode will be a really great opportunity to discuss self-love or self-acceptance or self-awareness and our own individual journeys that we're on this path, and why we felt the need to start this journey. So I guess I'll ask the first question, and it's basically, what does self-love and self-care mean to you guys?
Self-love to me is truly loving yourself in all aspects. So physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. And it's being genuinely happy with yourself. Not looking to other people to be happy, but looking to know that yourself is happy. And it's really just a lifelong journey of like accepting yourself, respecting yourself for one, and just embracing your true self, even if there's flaws involved.
What I believe self-love is like to love yourself with flaws and accept yourself for who you are, like putting yourself first, uplifting yourself, seeing the beauty in yourself, like,
right?
Because sometimes I feel like we don't see the beauty in ourselves. And I think loving yourself and having self-love is to see that beauty and being confident. I think confident has a lot to do with loving yourself too. Like if you don't love yourself, I feel like you're less confident. But when you the more you love yourself, I feel like the more a person is confident.
Hey, I like that.
Me too.
So self-love, self-care for me is like letting me be who I am. So not letting society influence the way I act, the way I dress, the way I think. Like just letting me be who I am and accepting those parts of myself. Because sometimes, society's like, oh, it should be this way, and then like you kind of forget who you are, and then like you realize that that's not even you, and then when you start learning yourself, you're like, I do things this way, and then like you're unsure if it's acceptable because it's not what society said like is acceptable. So just letting yourself be who you are, and that ties back to what Sam was saying about confidence. Being confident is definitely part of self-love, because for you to accept yourself, you have to be confident within who you are.
Right.
And it's not even about being confident like, oh, I'm the best. It's just being like, knowing that you have a trait and you not hiding it because you don't think it's good enough or other people will like it. That's just confidence, just not having to hide yourself because you are good enough to be seen.
Knowing that you are worth whatever you feel you're worth.
And also self-love for me is like also not needing anyone else to feel completed, because normally it's like, oh, I'll feel happy once I love someone else is does this for me. And like, you treat, like when you fall in love, you might treat someone better than you treat yourself. You might talk to them better than you talk to yourself. Self-love is doing those things that you do when you're in love for yourself.
So the next question I would ask is, why did you start on your self-love journey? And like, was there a specific point or like a specific event that happened, or any insecurities that actually contributed to you starting this?
So for me, it was really just me not knowing who I was and being too involved in what society thought was best for me and not listening to myself. And it got to the point where it was hard for me to continue because I was doing things and listening to things that didn't really align with myself, but I didn't know that I could literally just be myself and accept who I am. So when it got to that point that was hard to continue, it was like, okay, I can't continue like this because it's too hard. So I have to stop and really just learn who I am, love myself. And yeah, so the insecurity was just like, honestly, I didn't think I was good enough because I was like always having to step out of my character, like, and follow trends. But then like, you'll never feel good enough like that. So once I stopped doing that, it was like, okay, I could just be myself and not care what people were thinking, not care what people were doing, and literally just being me. And there was actually a conversation I had with someone, and they were like, you know, most kids are in college because their parents want them to be in college, but it's not really what they want to do. And I was like, that's really interesting. Like, because I related to that, not like me being in college because it's what my parents wanted to do, but me doing things because it's what other people thought was good for me, but it's not really what I thought I wanted to do. I was just listening to other people, and I knew that life was just becoming harder living like that. So I had to take a step back and listen to who I am and do me. So that's really what started me on my journey.
Yeah, it's definitely important to listen to your heart and listen to what you are telling yourself, because people have other expectations for you, but that is not a part of who you are.
My journey actually really started back when I was in high school. I was the only child, so I really was to myself for most of the time. And I had a few friends, but it's not like I could talk to them about a lot of stuff that was going on in my life. And I went through like hell and back, and it just brought me down because I didn't have my own mind. And with me being a small petite person, like, I get intimidated by a lot of stuff. And with the way that I grew up, it was like being closed in and keeping all my feelings and stuff inside was the only way to work. And I continued doing that up until like my senior year of college, to be honest. And I just grew really unhappy. Like, depression was hitting me quickly. I was isolating from people because I just wasn't happy. I didn't want to throw unhappiness onto other people. So it really hit senior year when I was like, you know what? We got to fix this. I don't like being unhappy. I don't like being sad. I like being chipper, my old little fashioned self. So that's really what kicked it in, is being my own person, being myself unapologetically, loving myself, because I didn't like myself. To be honest, I hated myself for a good while. Because nothing was going right. It was like everybody was I was either letting people take advantage of me, or I didn't have a voice, and I didn't like that. So that was honestly what was going on that made me switch.
I'm glad you made like a change, because I didn't know you were going through all of that, to be honest. I feel like a horrible person.
Don't feel bad. It's a lot of stuff that I held in just off the sake of being used to it. And to be honest, I didn't realize until actually recently that me opening up will make things in some sense better, because at least people know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If people don't know, they can't help. And when I was back in high school, even when I told people, they didn't help, so I thought it was easier to hide it in. But
Can relate.
right.
So all you saying, because I do the same thing too.
Yeah, same. Like, people hold back their feelings because it's like, first of all, like, I believe like people do try at first to tell somebody, but when they do it, first they go through rejection. So it's like after that rejection, it's like, oh, I can't tell anyone. I have to keep it in. And then you go years keeping things in, and it piles up, and like you're processing feelings just with you, and then it's weighing you down because you haven't. And that's what I'm saying, like, people don't pay attention to the part of life that isn't physical. Like, the more you keep things in, the more it weighs you down. Even though you can't see it or touch it, we know it exists. So we need to, as a society, to like start paying attention to the emotional part of people and the mental part of people that you can't see, because it's real. Even though you can't touch it, we all feel heavy sometimes.
Honestly, like how I started mine is I realized that I did not love myself. Like, my whole life, for a good period of my life, I was super insecure from middle school to high school. The thing is that I remember specifically something that I did that really, that I can still remember right now, is like I looked at myself in the mirror because I guess my peers were calling me like ugly, and I didn't like the way that I looked. I wasn't really ugly, to be honest, but like I internalized that so much. And I looked at myself in the mirror one day and I said, "You are ugly." Like that day when I said that, that's when my insecurities peaked. Like I said, what them older people, when they say you're cute, they're lying to you. You're not telling the truth. So I really brought myself down for so long. And then my own friends sometimes would like make fun of like me and stuff like that. And I know it's a joke, but like in my heart, like I kind of held on to the joke. And like it hurt me more because like I was suffering from like a lot of insecurities and I wasn't comfortable with myself. And it wasn't until like I started to take care of myself physically too, like I started getting my eyebrows done and like dancing, that I realized that I was not confident in myself and I didn't love myself. Because when I used to dance, that's when you saw a bit of the confident Samantha that I can be. And also like actually going to college helped me so much more. I don't know if it was the new environment or what, but like I just was inspired to be a better person, to like love myself more, to improve. And like I feel like every single year I've been improving. I am not the best version of myself yet, but I know that I can be. And I've improved tremendously from that insecure little girl that I was to this woman that I am today.
That's beautiful.
Amazing. I'm so proud of you, hun, because I never knew like your story like that, and to hear it, it's I'm proud of you. It takes a lot to open up and say all of that and be true about what was going on.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm really glad that I can, because right now I'm more confident in myself. That's why I can speak about it. And I'm trying to be more open. And I know like other people probably went through the same thing that I went through.
Yeah.
And now I can look at myself in the mirror and be like, damn, you are a bad bee, okay?
Yeah.
Good. You look good, okay?
Yeah. And
Good.
like, definitely a reason why I started on my self-love journey, as you was mentioning, is like sometimes like I used to look in the mirror and like tell, like, because they're like, on your self-love journey you have to tell yourself that you love yourself, look in the mirror and tell yourself that you love yourself, and I would do that, but I realized that I didn't mean it. I was like, damn, like I really don't even mean that I love myself. You know, self-love is so important. Like, if you don't love yourself, it's hard to move through life confidently, securely, and even be who you want to be.
That's true.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that, because I never like to look in a mirror, to be honest. Because every time I looked in the mirror, it was something wrong with me. Either because back then, thankfully not now, but back then, like I was in a lot of abusive relationships. So anytime I ever looked in a mirror, all I saw was scars, and it just made me be like, "Girl, what is wrong with you? Like, you look hideous. Like, you have all of these all of these bruises, all of these cuts, like your face isn't done, your hair isn't done, you look a mess. And people were starting to just say that, and I just started to believe it, because it was like, I don't know what to do. And I do agree with you saying, like, going to college, it definitely opens up, your mind about everything, and it gives you a little bit of self-confidence. Like, if they can do it, why can't I?
Exactly.
Girl, I'm so
Yeah.
glad you're out of those situations, and you're beautiful. Like, girl, you are so pretty.
Exactly. And
Like,
like it's crazy that you'd even ever think that, because like I've always looked at you and been like, damn, she's so beautiful. So it's like it's like these things that we think of ourselves, they're not even true. So we have to program our own minds to get rid of the lies that we tell ourselves. Because like you saying that you're not beautiful, that's not true. None of you guys are not beautiful. You guys are extremely beautiful. And like, so I look at you guys, I'm like, oh, she's so cute. I love the way she dances. This is that. So like, it's really just lies that we come up with because we're so insecure with ourselves.
Well, another question would be, what was the hardest part of your self-love journey?
I feel like it was actually telling myself that I love myself and actually meaning it.
Yeah, that I would say the same. Like actually, like as I was saying, like you looking in the mirror and actually loving yourself, actually getting to the point where you love yourself. Because like when you start, you don't love yourself, so you're just like, how do I even go about loving myself? Like how do you even start loving yourself? Like, and it takes time, and it's like the hardest part was knowing that I actually didn't even love myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I pride
Yeah.
myself and like saying like I like to tell myself the truth. So like that was hard for me because I didn't want to seem like I was lying to myself, because I really pride myself into telling myself the truth.
Right. I think my hardest part was really accepting my flaws. Because we all know we have our own little individual flaws that we don't like about ourselves, but it came to a point where I really hated it, and it was like, I gotta stop. Like, I really have to stop. And I think one of the hardest was breaking away from toxic thoughts, like my own toxic thoughts, and breaking away from toxic energy, because I'm used to toxic. Toxic became normal. So trying to break away from that, it was like I want to, trust me, I really want to, but I'm in my comfort zone. So that was really difficult, to be honest.
Getting out your comfort zone is definitely one. And like as you were saying, loving the parts of yourself that you don't like. And the thing is, like, we learn to not like these parts of ourselves, not from us, but as we grow up, and we wish that we could change ourselves, like be different in a way, but you have to understand that you are you. And that was really hard, because I always thought that, I would love myself once I'm different. But then like that it was really hard understanding that there's not going to be like a different part of me. Like I will never be different in that sense. I would just have to accept that part of me, because it's never going to change. That's me. That's what helps make me me.
Right.
And I definitely agree, because like, I'm a weirdo at times, but it's okay. Like, it's okay. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of who I am. Like, we're all not supposed to be the same people. Like, we're all not going to have the same characteristics, and I'm okay with my characteristics that make me different.
And that's the best part about it. You owning your truth. You know that you may have some bad flaws. You know that you may have some good ones. But at least you're accepting them and not, hiding them and thinking that they don't exist.
Yeah, basically acting like they don't exist, like ignoring a part of yourself that is real as the other parts of you. Like,
right.
And it's just not getting any airtime, and it feels suppressed, and then it weighs you down. So
yeah.
I love that airtime.
Yeah, once you accept your full self, you'll be happier in life, to be honest. So I wanted to ask, do you guys think social media can negatively influence self-love, or can it be positive?
It can be both.
Yeah, definitely both.
Why?
as far as like the negative sides, we always see so much negativity on social media. And it doesn't even have to be like stuff from the shade room. It can just be like a man tearing a woman down or another woman tearing another woman down. Like I see that all the time. And the reality shows don't make it better. We see each other fight all the time. So it's like we always need something positive to look into, or we're just going to end up having a negative mindset. And but it can also be positive because now you see more positive quotes coming up. You see different pages where they're embracing positivity. Like they're trying to knock it out. They're trying to give you something to uplift you during the day instead of something bad all the time.
I agree, definitely believe it's both, because I honestly feel like it depends on what you're following and what you're seeing. Like you said, with the positive pages, if you're following those positive pages, I feel like it will definitely help with your self-love. Because what I started doing is I started unfollowing some of the negative pages that I was following, or like unimportant pages, and started following more positive pages. And that, like, my feed became a bit more positive than it was before. But if you're looking at like pages or like things on Twitter that criticize a group that you can relate to, then that will like actually impede your self-love journey.
Yeah, for me, it's like it really just depends on the status of the person using social media. So if you're following someone who doesn't love themselves, they're going to reflect that in what they post and what they say. So they're gonna like bring you down also. But if you're following someone who loves themselves, they'll be spreading that self-love within them, and they'll be like loving themselves and maybe helping you grow throughout the content they post. So it really just depends on the person who's using social media. And like you do see some people tearing each other down and like judging people. It's not good or bad. It depends on the person who is posting the thing. And for me, I came off social media because I found that it was guiding my thoughts. Like people will be like, no, this isn't cute. And maybe I really did think it was cute, but because everyone was saying it wasn't cute, I was like, no, it's not cute. I can't do that. So I really had to come off to formulate my opinions and things like that, because it will kind of help you. It guides you to think a certain way. So it really just depends what you want.
I'm not sure everybody has done this before, but like sometimes I would look at some of those public figures and be like, dang, like I need to get like them, because obviously that's the norm, but then the norm don't work for everybody. And I had to realize that like trying to be all popular and fit in with everybody else who's on social media, it didn't help me at all. It actually hurt, to be honest, because I'm not like them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I had to realize that like I am not these Instagram models who I am. And I may not have no perfect body, but I'm me.
Period. Yeah.
Right.
I do believe the seeing those unrealistic images and expectations that society has for us like really can impede our growth. Yeah, like
I think like all expectations are unrealistic, because like just because you expect someone to be a certain way doesn't mean that they are that certain way. And even though like these people that are on social media, it might not be unrealistic, it's just not who we are. And then we're trying to be that way because it's like what's glorified. Other men are saying, yeah, this is what's cool, like this type of body is nice,
Right.
this hair is good. And like you're trying to like do that, you're trying to go in that way, and it's just not working because it's not you. And that's why I had to come off social media, because it's like, you can follow pages that do influence you positively, or you can just straight find out who you are by like saying, no, I'm not even going to look at the positive side of it or the negative side of it. I'm just going to literally go into myself and find who I am, not like let the positive side influence me or the negative side influence me. Let me influence me. And that's what I needed. So the next question is, can you be selfless and selfish whilst on a self-love journey?
I say that you can, but it's not always healthy, if that makes sense. Because, you know, with being selfless, you'll do anything for someone, especially someone that you care about, someone that you love. Even if it's just like a friend, like you will make sure that that person is happy, and you'll make sure that if they need something, if you got it, you can give it. But then it also comes a point where you got to make sure that you're not like neglecting yourself. So you have to be a little selfish at times. And I had to definitely realize that during college, when just trying to be so because I'm a selfless person. That's never going to change. I'm always going to be a selfless person, but I have to be more selfish now because I can't do everything. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So you have to balance the two.
Yeah, I think you can too. I feel like it's important to be selfish in a relationship that kind of requires you to give a lot of yourself, but that relationship doesn't give a lot back to you. I think that's important to be selfish then. But then I feel like, you know, like you said, you need a balance. You can be selfless at times. Like you can't be selfish the whole time, but you can be selfless and actually contribute to other people's lives in a way.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it's a balance of the two as well. Like you need boundaries, but then you shouldn't be so bound up, like have too many boundaries where you're not giving anything, because like the more selfish you are, the more you realize you don't love yourself. But the more selfless you are, the more you realize that you don't love yourself, because you're letting people like take from you, or like just like you're just giving, but you're not making sure that you have at the same time. So it's like there's a balance for it where loving yourself lies, to the point where like you're not being selfish to the point where you're not giving anything, but you're not being selfless to the point where you're giving everything.
Well, I want to know, what techniques did you all use to love and take care of yourselves more?
First, I really started by watching videos. I just watched videos to see how other people thought, because when you're in your head, the only thing that you know is what you. And when you learn something that someone else knows, it kind of opens up your school of thought. So I started watching videos and talking to people to open up the way I saw things, and I started reading. So it's just like in gaining knowledge, really. That's how I started. Then it was really just taking time to really be with myself, because sometimes you do spend time with yourself, but you're always thinking or like doing something. So really just taking time, spending time with myself, like maybe not doing anything, just breathing exercises help, and journaling too, because you can write about an event in the past, and like you might think that, oh, it happened a long time ago, so it's not affecting me, but you don't understand how much you're still holding on to it until like you're writing it and you're like, you're mad about it still, even though it happened like 5 years ago, and you're like, okay, I'm letting it out. So that was really good.
Yeah, I did some similar things to you. So I did I watched some YouTube videos, like started watching some YouTubers that honestly helped me in my journey, like educated me as well. So that was one of the first things I did as well. And I did meditation, so like using the mindfulness app. I did a little bit, not too much. I've been slacking a little bit, so I got to get on top of it. And like I started doing yoga. I did like a whole yoga challenge. I was like, I'm gonna do yoga every single day for 30 or 31 days.
How is it?
It was actually pretty good. Like when I stopped, I was like, dang. I felt like it actually helped with my health too. Like that was really, it was wonderful, to be honest. Yeah, that whole month my health was better. My cramps were less. I was like, I need to get back to yoga. Yeah, I did exercising and a bit of journaling. I just started that for real.
I think I started journaling back in high school. And it's crazy how we're talking about this now, because I just wrote a whole blog post on it. But when I was in high school, like the only thing that I loved to do was write. So instead of talking to people, because it never helped me, I just wrote it down in my journal, and I kept writing and I kept writing. And eventually it'll turn into like stories. I'll write poems. I would just write what my thoughts were into various different forms that I thought would work for me. And it helped for like a really good long time. And then like once I got to college, because a little bit more freedom, I started meditating. That definitely helped. Just listen to meditation music like in the morning before I go to class or before I go to work, just to ease my mind, especially if I don't have like a bad dream or something. And I started doing self-care weekends. So like either on Saturday or Sunday of every week, I would dedicate it to working on myself. So whether it be like a face mask, or I'm doing my hair, or maybe I want to look cute for the day, so I do some makeup, take some pictures, make myself feel good, I love to research. I'm not really a person who like watch TV like that. I'm more of a listen to music, research stuff that I love, or journal. That's really all I do. And if I don't do that, I'm working out.
Yeah, there was something that you said that I was like, I can relate to so much. Like when I was going through hard time in my life, I used to write poetries. Like that's one thing I used to write so much, and I used to try to create stories.
And honestly, I stopped it for a while because life got busy. Like after taking the exam and doing all these classes and going to work full time, I'm tired. My hands don't want to write, but that's when I started doing voice recording too. That's a new one.
Yeah, I never tried that. I didn't even.
You should try it. Like all you really just doing is just either doing some self affirmations or you're just telling yourself, you know what? Calm down. Today's going to be a good day. Even if it's not a good day, you're going to make it a good day. Or just anything that you feel like will lift your spirits, just record it and hear it back. Sometimes I listen to mine on the daily. I don't be liking my voice like that, but it helps.
So we're about to wrap up with our last little question. You can do the honors, Muffle.
Okay. So, what is a message you will give your older and younger self?
I would honestly tell my younger self that it is okay. What you went through, it wasn't your fault, even though you blamed yourself 1,000,001 times. It wasn't your fault. And you got through it. So I would tell myself that it's okay and that you're still here. And as far as my older self, girl, keep pushing.
Amen. I guess for me, I would tell my younger self that you are beautiful. You are worthy and deserving of whatever you feel that you deserve. Your skin is beautiful. Like whatever physical characteristics that is different is what makes you beautiful. And the things in life that you went through is actually a lesson. It's like it's meant to teach you, to guide you to the best version of yourself. So don't worry, girl. Everything is going to be fine. For my older self, I would say, I hope that you're actually happy in life. I really wish happiness for you. Like you deserve it. You've been through moments in your life that has not been happy, like that you have not experienced happiness. And I hope that you truly are happy. You're smiling right now because your smile is so beautiful, girl.
For my younger self, I'd be like, I'll tell myself thank you for being so strong and like just, being able to just get through life, not knowing who you were fully. And I was like, I'll be like, thank you. You're stronger than you think you are. You're better than you think you are. The only limits that you have are the ones that you set on yourself, and the only thing that you can be is who you are. So don't even try to be anything else. Don't try to do it for anyone else. Is like you already got it. So like let go of everything you're holding on to, because like you're just perfect the way you are. And my older self, I'll be I don't know what I'll say to her. Like, thank you for continuing on this journey. Thank you for not giving up. That's probably what I'll say.
Well, I really loved all you guys' response. I think this was really wonderful.
I don't think we ever all had a conversation about our own personal stories and what got us, here. I don't I really don't think we've ever talked about that. So it's refreshing.
And it's crazy how much time we spent with each other, but we really didn't talk to each other, like, for real. Like, what are your problems? Like, what are you going through? Do you need help? Do you need a hug? Like, and because, like, as I was saying in our other video, like, the women that we have as role models, we never see them actually talking to each other, like, on a real level.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't really think it was possible. Like, well, people, like, women actually sit around and talk about their feelings with each other. That's real, but, like, it's beautiful when we do it. So.
People will be like, "You're sensitive" or whatever. We don't want to hear the sensitive crap that you're talking about, because, like,
Right.
yeah. But honestly, that's kind of toxic. But I'm glad we're learning from it. You know, in life we'll make mistakes, but mistakes are worth the time because we learn from them. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Ann, for joining us. We really love having.
It was a pleasure. I told you I love this podcast. I love it.
And we will love yours as well. We will listen to it whenever
Thank you.
In the blog as well. So yeah, I'll put it on my story.
Thank you. I'll definitely send you all the links and stuff to it.
I'll be on that.
Well, thank you for joining us today on the Young Intellect podcast. We hope that you enjoyed the show and tell a friend about us. Also, follow us on Instagram at Young Intellect Pod. Make sure you take care of yourself and your mind.
Cause I'm a young intellect. I'm a young intellect. I'm a young